Her ex-husband, multimillionaire, lives in a mansion on a hill with a big hot tub that overlooks the city and shit, you know. Who bought her van? That dude bought her van. Who gives her a few $1,000 every time she asks for it? That dude does. So her pretending that she's some van lifer, because she's not. She parks outside of mansions, literal mansions, because the people she knows, she grew up extremely wealthy. So everybody she knows is extremely wealthy with horse properties and, you know, shit like that. Literal mansions. And she parks outside their house, uses their bathrooms and whatnot, and sleeps in her van and considers that van life.
Hey, y'all. Super classy here. I'm just fake van lifing it up out here in front of my multi-millionaire ex-husband's literal mansion. Huh. I guess they just don't make mansions like they used to. In the last months, I've been lied to and cheated on, threatened, privately and publicly.
I think I'm going to turn Michelle into such a fine pink mist, everybody will have to wash her out of their hair.
And slandered.
She knows how to fuck with somebody, man. And, you know, I was the abused woman in this relationship.
By Daniel Ryan Haley, the Nightcrawler. This video covers all of that. And since I will never publicly speak of or mention this individual again, it's going to be comprehensive. I'll timeline you through everything that's happened from February 10th when we finally split up for the last time. And then I'll update you on my trail plans because those have had to change too, since pretty much all my time, energy, and attention have been focused on this dumpster fire for over a month. At any rate, it's going to be a long video. I did not monetize it. However, because it's so long, if YouTube drops ads in, just know I didn't put them there and I am not benefiting in any way. So let's get started.
You know, and she's going to say some things about me. Hey, and some of them might be true. I'm not a great person. I'm not. I could be such a better person. I am, by quite a lot of standards, a piece of shit.
February 10th. This was how 3+ years together ended. Fairly unceremonious, but straightforward. Although now I know this was a lie, since he already had Plan B lined up.
Hi, baby. I got a better girlfriend.
I got in and out of his parents' place in less than 20 minutes. I gave him the gifts I'd brought home for him and his family from Ecuador. The van was loaded and I was back on the road. A table runner for Dan's mom. And, a little bracelet I got for Dan's nephew who helped us out a bunch on the Maricopa Trail last year. So, fun fact, I dropped my wallet in the cab in Cuenca with my driver's license and debit card, which is the only way I have to access my money. I had a replacement sent to Dan, but we couldn't get it to work. He loaned me his card number on January 7th so I could book my flight home from Ecuador. I reimbursed him for my flight right after I left his parents' house. PayPal sends email notifications instantly to both parties with every transaction. On February 12th, after locking myself out of the van yet again, I asked where my spare key was. As of today, I still don't have it, which is concerning because now, as far as I know, I've got a hostile ex with a key to my house who knows where I'm staying while I'm working on another major project.
I'm coming for you. So, yeah, my plan is to pretty much just dox her, you know?
On February 14th, I posted my trail plans for the year. I mentioned that we had broken up and that I wished him well. Yesterday, I got to close my first major open loop of 2022. Nightcrawler and I are done. This was inevitable, and frankly, I'm shocked we made it as long as we did. We were together for over 3 years, and as much as I would have loved for it to be the case, he's not my person, and nothing was going to change that. That said, I wish him all the best and every happiness. Once I got unpacked, I saw that the Big Agnes tent we'd bought together wasn't there, which was fine. I have no use for a 3-person tent, so I asked what his plans were for it. When he replied the next day that he was keeping it, I asked for reimbursement for my half since I have no desire nor am I in a position to donate $200 towards his gear. 4 days later, still no response. So I checked his YouTube channel to see if he had been active since I sent the messages and ended up watching his pre-trail video because some of the comments I saw made no sense.
You know, money is a stress, cold is a stress, you know, food, animals. So that is my number one priority, is teeth. And I know I have enough for that and at least all of Arizona, and you know, that's what's most important to me. And I'm pretty sure it'll get me a good chunk of the way down the CDT, and we'll see what happens. You know, I know how to hike cheap. Fucking, you guys have really, funded me through this whole thing. Emotional and financial support, and food. Lots of that.
I couldn't believe he claimed being stressed out about having enough money and food to complete his trails, since he had just spent 6 months taking about every hour he could get at Amazon, specifically for this purpose and to get his teeth fixed.
The reality is I need to make money, so I did something horrible. I got a job. While I appreciate you supporting me, those of you who have in the past, present, and those that you will in the future, I just, need to make my own way so I can do what I plan to do next year. I've got big plans. Oh, big plans.
Obviously, I have no problem with people asking for extra support for their hikes. Half the video I posted the following day, February 21st, was about my own Patreon. So you may or may not know that I have a Patreon account, and I am supposed to be doing special things for my subscribers, which is appropriate. I'm extremely grateful for the support I get through Patreon, and I strongly feel that people who subscribe through Patreon should get something special. I do have a problem with asking for support under false pretenses. In this case, that without external assistance, he wouldn't be able to finish his hikes, which is absolutely untrue.
It pays a little more than $200 a day, and that's a fair price. So with that, I should be able to save up enough money to get new choppers. Yeah, and hike a few trails.
I talked about that in the second half of my video and wanted to clarify that I had no knowledge of or connection to it. It is, I can't imagine sitting silently by, knowing what I know, just sort of opening the door for people to be taken advantage of and conned and grifted in this way. It would be too much. It's just too much on my conscience, I should not have made that video when I was still so emotional from our sudden breakup. I definitely got a little ranty. That's not why I took the video down though, because I stand behind pretty much everything I said. We're getting to that part. The following day, February 22nd, he PayPal'd me $200. Literally less than 10 minutes later, he commented on my video that he had already paid me. Unfortunately, I've lost that screenshot. On February 23rd, Dan posted a video to Patreon that he had recorded on the 21st.
But she put out a video about me today that was spiteful and hurtful and, full of accusing and lies. Called me a grifter.
He talked about the breakup in my video, making several false and misleading claims and statements along the way, so I'm just going to roll them in order.
Saying, he has a job at Amazon, so he has, I don't even know the numbers she threw out, but I was like, fuck, we make that much at Amazon? Really? Wow, had I known, I'd have stayed. It pays a little more than $200 a day, and I was working as much as I could, and the night shift, which pays more, and doing jobs that suck, so they pay more, because, I was there to make money. But that made her mad that I missed a call, and she got really abusive, and then didn't see any of this trip being about her at all, because things needed to be about her. So it was, this is, and everything was in capitals. She sent me a wall of text that I had to scroll through, but everything that was you was capitalized, Y-O-U. This is about you, your teeth, your hike, and whatnot. I tried to make it about us, but the day she decided we had broken up, she sent me the money she owed me because she had to borrow $500 from me to get back into America, because she's been gone for 6 months, man, in Ecuador, living it up, doing her thing. Hey, cool. I didn't judge. Have fun, babe. Have fun. But all of a sudden she had paid me back, and then was upset that I owed her technically $200 for a tent. I didn't know she paid me back the $500. So in my mind, I was like, well, if you didn't pay me back the $500, why would I give you half of a $200 tent? That just wouldn't make sense, right?
It's hard to imagine someone with no money not noticing an almost $500 deposit to their account. I noticed right away when he repaid me the 2.
I think you kind of understand that, I'm broke as a joke all the time. Hey, I got no problem getting odd jobs, I didn't even know she paid me already, so I looked on PayPal and it was there. So I was like, hey, bing, $200 your way, darling. Case closed.
February 26th.
I shall start referring to her as Michelle because she is no longer super classy to me. Very classless, and hell, I can sink down to depths too, but I'm not. I'm not gonna blow her up. I'm not gonna do anything. I already blocked her and whatnot.
Now the threats start. I didn't take my video down when he repaid me for the tent because the tent was never the point. That just affected me. And as with every other time we'd had a personal issue, I'd have kept it that way. The tent is merely what led me to his ironically titled Keeping It Real video, where he dishonestly implied that he doesn't have enough money to pay for his hike, to motivate people to give him more than they might have done had they known he actually has more than enough.
Sure, I could have grifted you all and then got that money and bought new teeth and not went on a hike. But, I think I'd rather hike and have teeth. Can we not have both?
So it's worth mentioning that he filmed this for his YouTube audience on or about the same day he sent me these texts.
And I can't get over it because I don't have any way to defend myself. I don't like that. I don't like being pushed into a corner and like there's nothing I can do.
The next 3 messages pretty much perfectly demonstrate the Daniel Haley approach to conflict management. We didn't even fight all that much, which is pretty impressive considering that for over 2 years, we were together literally 24/7. But there were enough arguments that this predictable pattern emerged.
I just got to get it off my mind, man. Why should I have to deal with this? This wasn't my fault.
Step 1, deny or deflect. He doesn't dispute or even acknowledge anything I said in my response. It is extremely difficult to lie directly to a shared truth and be convincing. Instead, he focuses on the tent thing, which by this time had been fully resolved, and ignore the actual point, that trying to get his hike crowdfunded by pretending to be too broke to do it on his own is dishonest and unethical.
I mean, come on, man. You guys have been with me for what, like 5 years now? I think you kind of understand that, I'm broke as a joke all the time. Hey, I got no problem getting odd jobs, man's got to survive. I ain't trying to have you guys support my life, just most of my hike. Is that too much to ask for?
Step 2, blame or project. Man, if I had a buck every time Dan has tried to blame me for his behavior or accuse me of doing exactly what he's doing, I wouldn't have to worry about fundraising either. Dan thinks of his YouTube audience as a cash cow, to be milked at his convenience and for his pleasure. He has no desire to have any actual personal connection with his audience. I had to talk him into meeting one of his fans who'd left us trail magic in New Mexico, and another we visited in Texas on our way to Alabama. In short, he uses his audience. So, projection. I don't use people. You use people.
So why am I the grifter? If anything, she's the grifter. Like, even though I was in Ecuador fucking all these people, but anyway. If I'm getting aggressive with you, it's kind of because you made me.
Step 3, retreat or attack. Usually he opts for retreat, which typically is passive-aggressive, like the silent treatment, but can also be a full-blown tantrum, like when he threw a fit and left me to sleep alone in a ditch on the side of the highway in New Mexico. On rare occasions, he attacks. This time, he went nuclear.
The super classy Nightcrawler war is on! And it gives me something to do. I actually like having an enemy. I don't often have one that I can fuck with. And she has so many skeletons that nobody knows about. I mean, a lot of people know about it, but the internet world doesn't.
So yeah, now I'm being threatened with revenge porn. Fun fact, in over 3 years and 20 states together, I only ever met one real-life friend of Dan's. He prefers to keep everything online so he can control the narrative, but we'll get more into that later. So, after badgering me pretty relentlessly to try my first ever threesome with him and his one friend, I finally gave in. And that's what he's referencing here, even though he tries to make it sound like I took on a room full of dudes or something. At any rate, now that the internet does know about this sordid skeleton in my closet that I did have no intention of ever sharing publicly because it's nobody's business, Let's take a closer look at this threat. It's precisely worded to cause maximum humiliation and fear in order to gain power and control over me. And the party hat? Special touch. Notice he says a video, not the video, because that would presume I knew about it, which I definitely did not. I'd never let anyone keep a sex vid because it's just a horrible idea. And I especially never would have let Dan do it, and believe me, he asked. Because unfortunately, I actually saw exactly what he's doing to me now as a possible outcome. So, any video he has of me that could be considered pornographic, he took secretly because he knows I would never have consented. Guess what secretly filming someone during sex is? It's a federal crime that could bring up to a year in federal prison. It's a felony in the state where he took the video, with up to 2 years in prison. If he releases his video, if he hasn't already, that's a separate felony, with up to 5 years in prison. In Arizona, where Dan is a resident, and where he was when he sent the threat, distributing non-consensual or revenge porn is a felony, with up to 3 years, 9 months in prison, and or up to $150,000 in fines. Just making the threat is a Class 1 misdemeanor, which could mean up to 6 months in prison. And because Dan isn't just some rando trying to make a buck off a sex tape, we were in a long-term committed relationship, at least I thought so anyway. It's also considered a domestic violence offense, as well it should be, since using revenge porn to blackmail and intimidate someone is actual mental and emotional abuse.
She has been pretty much abusive. I mean, I don't know if she's going through menopause or whatnot. I try to, tell myself that's what it was, and that, it was going to come back to normal eventually, but she just kept getting meaner and meaner, just like towards me. She was really nice to everybody else, but like very abusive towards me. Not physically, but, verbally, mentally. She's got a master's degree in psychology, so she knows how to fuck with somebody, man. And, I was the abused woman in this relationship.
Considering the fact that he said this shortly after perpetrating domestic violence against me, in a legal sense, can we just take a moment to consider what a slap in the face that is to real victims? Also, Arizona classifies revenge porn as a sex offense, which is also appropriate. Stealing video of your chick for your spank bank now and using it later to bludgeon her into submission is some predator shit. It also means the possibility of having to register as a sex offender. So, lots going on in this one little sentence. Anyway, moving on. Does that sound familiar?
And at least once a month or twice a month, she was telling me what a piece of shit I am. Like, I've got text after text after text. Always tell me I'm a piece of shit. She was just yelling at me in text, man. Just yelling at me. Just stanza after stanza, shooting by, telling me what a piece of shit I am. And I was finally like, just fuck off. It's like, I short and simple, man. Now I don't have super classy to yell at me and tell me where to go. I need you guys to yell at me and tell me where to go. Just don't call me a piece of shit. I still love her. I still love Michelle, I do. But she's mean to me a lot. Talks down to me. I'm told I'm a piece of shit all the time. It's not like every day. It's not. She's great to me quite often, most of the time. But, I never tell her she's a piece of shit. And now, since we're on a new issue, we're back to steps 1 and 2. No denial or dispute over the fact that he just threatened me with revenge porn. Deflection. And now, I'm the liar. Projection. At any rate, if the point of threatening me wasn't to take my video down, I have no idea what he meant by push me too far. So you can probably guess what happened next. Hi. Super classy here. Or Michelle Markel, whichever you prefer. I'm just fake van lifing it up again in front of another extremely wealthy multi-millionaire friend's house. This one's a single mom who does payroll for an ambulance company, so she's clearly rolling in it. Anyway, I'm house sitting here, and this house sit comes complete with not housebroken 2-month-old puppy, which is annoying
and also adorable. Oh my gosh, that puppy is adorable. It's made doing this video so much easier, and so has the giant box of wine she left me, because that's what I'm getting paid for this one. And, you know, she left the fridge stocked, so that's cool. Wish I could eat. Anyway, today is March 23rd. I just finished the last section of this video yesterday, which I thought would be the hardest part of this video. Basically, sharing on the internet the details of my private, personal sex life that I shouldn't have to do. But if I'm going to have to do it, or it's going to happen, I want it to be on my own terms. So I was going to continue working on the timeline, like I said I would in the introduction of this video that I shot a couple weeks ago, because pretty much all I've been doing for the past couple of weeks is work on this fucking video, which makes me no money and does nothing for me other than, I don't know, I guess try to prove to the internet that I'm a real human being. And today I learned that you can search your messages for keywords. I didn't know you could do that. I was looking for evidence and proof. I've been so hard about that, because apparently everything needs to be on not a blank piece of paper. You can't just take my word. And I understand that. You don't know me. That was one thing he was right about. You don't know me. I have traditionally been extremely private because I don't trust anybody. Go figure. And I knew that getting involved in this relationship would cost me a lot in terms of my privacy. And I had accepted that and tried to accommodate it as much as possible. But part of the reason I'm as private as I am is because I never realized or never thought that anybody would really give a shit about what I thought or what I was seeing, or like me at all, really, I guess. I don't know. So I just kept it to myself and was just trying to show people public lands, because that's what I really love and care about. At any rate, I was going to continue walking through this timeline, but I can't. It's full of lies about me and about my people who I love and care about. And yes, my ex did help me buy this van. Unfortunately, the $1,200 I got for the last van, which was like the creeper-mobile from hell, certainly the elitist rich bitch ride from, of choice, wasn't enough to buy this van. And that is why he helped us get this van, because we all went together to buy this van. And the understanding was always that this van was for me and Dan. And he moved in right away, made no bones about it at the time, and made himself entirely comfortable in here while I drove him around, because he didn't have a driver's license most of the time. But I just can't go through all of this. It is so offensive and ridiculous to have to explain myself, to have to put the privacy of my loved ones, who I do trust, out there when they don't want that. They didn't ask for this. I signed up for it. It's not their fault though. And so I don't feel okay about throwing them out there where they don't want to be, just because someone's decided that it's all fun and games to have an enemy, to distract him from his trail. So I'm not going to do it. I've already shared way more than I'm comfortable with. It's nobody's business who I fuck, or how I fuck, or when. It's nobody's business. It's not your business. It's not his business to share. it certainly wasn't okay for him to take evidence of that without my knowledge or consent. But I'm just so sad. I mean, like I said in one of the comments in the video that I was bullied into removing, only a sociopath looks forward to conflict. He's enjoying this, and he's excited about the idea of destroying me and my reputation and my integrity and showing me to be like, I don't even know what, to some internet audience I'll probably never meet. But I certainly don't have the time or the wherewithal to battle with, because I am not a sociopath and I don't like conflict. And I hate all of this. I hate having had to share this. I hate having had to do this video. I've been working on it virtually nonstop, night and day. It's all I've been doing other than, monitoring this unhousebroken puppy for the last 2 weeks. And I'm not going to do it anymore. So I apologize for, I said in the introduction that I was going to walk you through every step of the timeline that happened since we broke up. But frankly, I feel like we broke up whenever he started hooking up with chicks from Amazon. So, and I have no idea when that was, which is also heartbreaking because, up until February 10th, all I was getting was I love you messages and I can't wait for you to come home messages. And for over 3 years, we had problems. Yeah, I left him more than once. Yeah. It was not an ideal relationship. Yeah. And I had always known he's not my person. Yeah, but he was my person for the time. And he was home. And this van goes everywhere. And this van, he's been in it. Virtually every good memory I have of this van is with him in it. And he permeates this space. And it's horrible because now I have to get rid of everything in here, which I can't really afford to do, because as much as he would love for you to think that just because I'm surrounded by this faceless army of multimillionaires that somehow should make me rich, I currently have less than $2,000 to my name. And so my greatest embarrassment and shame around money is that I don't have any. I have less than $2,000, and, yes, I do have well-off family members. When you don't have to file for taxes because you make so little, it's really easy to imagine that everybody around you is extremely wealthy. In the 3+ years we were together, we went through 20 states, and I took him to no less than 20 friends and family to stay where he enjoyed their hospitality. He availed himself of everything that was offered to him. And now it's fuck the rich. They're not even rich. It's fucking ambulance company worker, a CAL FIRE worker, a New Mexico state highway worker, a forest ranger, a CAL FIRE captain, all of these extremely rich people who somehow magically have managed to maintain their multimillionaire status, and I am still broke as fuck, almost 50, with nothing to show for it but this van that my ex-husband helped me buy with the full knowledge, because all 3 of us went and test drove it together, that it was going to be a van for me and Dan, and that this was going to be our home. And now here we are. I have all of these videos that he's put out, basically trying to propagate these lies about how I don't know what the hell is going on with his job. We talked every day on the phone, every single day while I'm running all over Southern California, all over Northern California, all over Arizona, trying to hustle money, trying to take care of people, trying to actually be a good person for the people who I actually know in my life. Many of whose homes wasn't welcome at before all of this, and certainly wouldn't be welcome at now, because he's not good on the ground. He's not particularly effective in terms of personal relationships when it comes to like being face to face. He can do this all day long. He can video all day long. And he's found the perfect audience, people who will just lick up everything he says. And as he said in one of his clips, why should I have to deal with this? This isn't my fault. Why should I have to explain myself to counteract a liar and a cheat and a grifter? To defend myself against all of these lies that benefit him entirely and hurt me, and so he wins doubly, which is all I think he cares about, which is fucking heartbreaking, man. You know, I thought he loved me. I thought he cared. He said it every day. I felt it. I felt it when we were together. But unfortunately, no. All these multi-millionaire public service employees and non-profit organization folks I'm surrounded by have not showered me with all of the cash and money and vehicles that I desire. I have this one van. That's all I got. I did talk to my friend who's an attorney. The hate mail that he was referring to. Yeah, I'll put a clip of that up, or I'll put a shot of that up. It's basically, he didn't have anything to take either. We have nothing. I have less than he does currently, but I have to imagine that soon enough he'll run out of that too, and he'll have to get another job or whatever. I'm hustling all the time. I'm running my ass off everywhere, trying to make a few $100 here, a few $100 there. And he wants to paint it to look like I'm surrounded by rich people, and so by osmosis, possibly, I must be rich too. I don't even have health insurance. I don't have a credit card. That's why I had to borrow money from him to get back here from Ecuador. This cadre of multimillionaires is so shitty. I broke my old computer, my 10-year-old computer, trying to make this video, and actually had to buy a new one. So that's why I have less than $2,000 now, which is unfortunate because it puts me, you know, that many thousands of dollars further away from being able to hike my next trail, which I also can't disclose for my own safety, which is fucking bullshit. Because somebody thinks that doing this to another person is fun. And he would get mad, or he'd get really hurt. I would tell him that I didn't trust him because I never really was fully able to trust him, but at least I was honest about it. I didn't lie. And he would get really hurt about it. And I wasn't wrong, was I? I mean, I love you, I love you, I love you up until February 9th. And then February 10th, it's go fuck yourself. And 3 days later, some other chick swaddling his face like a baby, taking such good care of him in Mexico. There is no reasonable timeline in which we break up with a fuck off. And then 2.5 days later, some chick he had just met, said hello to, is now swaddling his face in Mexico while he gets half his face fixed. No. Oh, and, you know, cooking her vegan meals, and he loves her vegan turkey, and, oh, but she eats a lot of meat. I feel sorry for that girl. Oh my God, I got no beef with her at all. I've definitely been on that side of the coin before, where some dude fucking lies to you and tells you that they're available, or leads you to believe that they're available, or who knows what he told her. I have to believe that he has lied to her just as much as he's lied to me. But on the plus side, she's only in this, what, like a few months? Dan was my home for more than 3 years. This van went everywhere. I went everywhere. We went everywhere. And even though he wasn't my person and I didn't trust him, I always had hope that maybe that would change. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to find somebody living like I do. I've been traveling and basically homeless, except for a van, since 2016. It's hard to find somebody that you can relate to and that you can hang out and have easy times with, and whose company you enjoy, and whose wit you admire, and whose take on things is fresh and unusual and interesting and fascinating, who you feel loves you. And even if they're not the right person for you, I think maybe for me, I don't know, maybe I'm a hopeless romantic, or maybe I don't know what it was, but I stayed. Not only did I stay, but I left and came back, or left and let him back in multiple times. So yeah, this sucks, right? I mean, in a lot of ways, we did really well together. And in a lot of ways, I miss him. And I do love him. And on some level, some part of me will always love the good part of him, because I know it's in there. I've seen it. He has a big, beautiful heart in there. And that was what kept me coming back. And that was what kept me there for as long as I was there, because I thought maybe someday. And now here we are. I'm being threatened with revenge porn from someone who called me his person and the love of his life. At some point decided that me being off trying to take care of business and trying to take care of myself finally, which is why I went to Ecuador, to be in a place where I knew I could afford to be and try and get my shit together so I could come back home to Dan, and our life together would be better, because I wouldn't be so stressed out and crazy from the exhaustion of trying to take care of everyone around me without impacting him too much. And in the meantime, he got himself a new girlfriend, a so much better girlfriend. I don't want to do this timeline. I know it's all lies. It is so offensive to have to defend myself against this, knowing what I know. So, basically, here's how it goes from here. I'm going to stop reading these messages we sent each other from February 9th to November 2018, when we first met. And there aren't a ton because we were actually together almost all of that time. I do love Dan, but it's not okay. It is not okay. It is not okay to violate somebody by taking video of them in a situation you asked them. You basically coerce them into being, and then use it against them later as a threat to control them. So I am moving forward with everything I said in this hate mail I sent him, and more. Since I first sent the hate mail, I learned about how it's a felony in the state in which he did it. He didn't even tell his friend he was throwing him under the bus. I had to tell him. And all of the extra stuff in Arizona, and that it's a federal charge too, to take video of somebody without their knowledge or consent, which seems appropriate. So I've already filed a police report here in California, where I was when I received the threat. And I just want to be done with this. So the video was the main part, getting this done. And I don't know. I mean, it's just such a fucking burden. I will be filing a police report in the state where the video was taken. I will be filing a police report in Arizona where he's already committed a misdemeanor by threatening me with revenge porn. I will be getting a domestic violence protective order and an injunction to prevent him from continuing to harass me online and off. Although, as he noted, he has already blocked me. He blocked me immediately after reading the hate mail he said he didn't read. Spoiler alert, you can still access the messages whether or not you block the person. And yeah, that trip down memory lane was even more brutal than explaining to you how I had a threesome with him and his friend because he badgered me into it and then stole video of it and is now threatening me with the release of it. So I will be following through with all of those things, and I will not answer or respond to or comment on anything having to do with him. I'm heartbroken, but I need to move on. He's got a good heart in there somewhere, but that's not what's in play right now. And I can't do anything for that, and it's not my job anymore. He has a new girlfriend now, or whatever. I don't know. Sounds like he's definitely trying to chase himself down some trail out there. That's what I hear. Thankfully, I have a friend watching his videos for me, so I don't have to. At any rate, yes, this has been hard. I have spent virtually all of my time and energy and attention on the unbroken house puppy and this fucking video, and I'm fucking done. I am tired. I am over it. I want to move on with my life, as so many people recommended that I do, which I would have been more than happy to have done had I been allowed the chance to. But obviously you can't just let somebody like bully you by threatening you with revenge porn to take down a video that basically held them up to the light, and then release 5 videos at least that just excoriate your character freely, you know? I mean, what? Wow. And all the time we were together, we visited no less than 20 of my family and friends. And he availed himself of every hospitality they had to offer. He sat at their tables, ate their food, monopolized their conversations, tore up their bathrooms. Not a word of complaint about it at the time, but now, this is like the other big skeleton in my closet. This cadre of faceless, multi-millionaire, extremely wealthy people surrounding me that obviously somehow must make me rich, and it's just ridiculous. He knows I have no money. He's just trying to hurt me. He knows that he has an online presence because that's the only place he's present, and he's using it to maximum effect. I've never been an online person. I've always been an on the ground, I want to just talk to you in person. I don't even really like talking on the phone too much. I made a friend of mine from the PCT talk to me on video chat the other day because he's going through a hard time. And yeah, that's how I do, man. Like, I just have to like communicate with people one-on-one. Like, I'm not good at this online stuff. I never have been. You can watch virtually any of my early videos and see that I've never put the focus on me because I've never tried to make this channel or anything, frankly, about me. I've been beaten down before domestically and in a physical sense, not just an emotional not just because verbal and emotional abuse, frankly, is a little bit more insidious because it tends to happen over a long period of time and nobody takes you seriously unless you have marks and bruises. Anyway, I've had those marks and bruises too. And maybe someday, probably someday, I might talk about that too. But in the meantime, I think I'll just go ahead and work on processing the mental and emotional abuse I'm currently experiencing and allow myself the out of not finishing off this timeline. You ever have any questions about who I am or what I'm about? Hit me up. My email address is sc@superclassyadventures.com. I don't have anything to hide. I never have had. I just never thought anybody would care enough to listen. And maybe they still don't. I don't know. But all I know is that I have spent enough time and energy and attention on this shit show that has been devastating and heartbreaking. And it's time to get on with business. I came here to Southern California. To raise money for my hike because I feel like any support I get should be considered. Like, I used to work in bars and my paycheck every other week would be like $60. That's about the same type of scale I'm working with here with social media. I don't make shit off social media. I'm not trying to like grow it. I'm not trying to live off it. I will only and always and ever think about it as an addition to what I do for myself, because I'm capable of doing for myself, and so I will do. Anything that happens above and beyond that is a blessing for which I am entirely and extremely and eternally grateful. But I will never put myself in the position where this is it. And I just look at this as like, oh, this is my life. I just pander to YouTube and pander to Patreon, maybe as an incentive to get people to pay me. I'll offer shit talk about my ex. but I'm no class. Oh my God. So yeah, this has been an incredibly horrible, emotional, devastating, heartbreaking time. And yeah, I'm a private person. I'm not comfortable with sharing everything. But when I do share, you're gonna get everything. So if there's something that you're interested in, let me know. And I'll talk about it later. But in the meantime, I've spent enough time on this, and I don't want to look at these messages anymore. Because believe me, I tried looking for all of these, you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit texts. I keep hearing about the stanzas and text after text. I can find him. If he can find him, let him show you. While he's at it, maybe he'd like to show you his W-2 and his receipts for his dental bills. But I'm done with this. I'm not going to explain myself any further to justify the fucked claims of a liar, of a cheat, of a grifter who doesn't care about anybody but himself. It's time for me to get back to what I came here to do, and that is to sell off all the shit that I left stacked in my, oh my God, eternally patient ex-husband's house. He's been looking at my shit for 6 years since we've been separated. He is such a good man, and in all the ways that count: honesty, integrity, loyalty, things that Dan would know nothing about. And that's why I would take a bullet for him. I would do anything for him. He gets free house sitting for life, that's for damn sure. He's the reason why I came back from Ecuador when I did. Was I had committed to house sitting for him. He had a big birthday and he wanted to take his lady on a vacation, and so I had committed to him before I decided to go to Ecuador that I would house sit for him, which was awesome for me because I got to spend some time with our last 2 dogs that we had together, little Footy and Jasper. And they're old, and I don't know if or when I'll get to see them again after I leave here and hit trail. And so there was no question. I would have come back from the moon to house sit for somebody who has unconditionally loved and supported me for years, and whom I trust completely. I wish I could have said the same for Dan, but as we can all see now, that didn't turn out so well, and it was probably a good thing I didn't trust him and didn't let him do everything he wanted to me, because I would certainly be paying more for it now, wouldn't I? So, thus ends the too much information version of my life update. I'm going to stay here in Southern California, finish this house sit for my multimillionaire ambulance payroll friend and her dad's unhousebroken new puppy, and then get back to the business of actually fundraising for my hike, so I don't feel like obligated to beg on the internet for money to finish my hike. I will have enough money to do it when I start, which is how it should be. And then I'm gonna take a long ass fucking walk. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see you out there.
As a postscript, if you see this out there, please send me the link. And to my sisters, if you choose to get naked with this person, unless you want to be in my position, make sure you always have visuals on his phone. If humiliating myself entirely through this video helps even one other woman from experiencing what I am right now, it will all have been worth it.
You'd appreciate it. But really not worth the hassle. You know, in the long run.